Have you ever wanted to say something so important, so urgent, so necessary, but couldn't? How did that make you feel? Trapped? Anxious? Alone? Did you feel that pit inside your stomach getting deeper and deeper? We all know that pit. Amplify that feeling and go 3 feet deeper if you're non-male. Amplify it once more and go 6 feet deeper if you're of color. Now we are 9 feet deep into this pit. 9 feet deep into this feeling, all because something forced us to stay silent. I want to leave the office and go be with my family. They're important. They need me. But I don't feel comfortable doing so. Another friend was discriminated against, and I fear that it will happen to me. I couldn't possibly tell my colleagues. I don't feel comfortable doing so. When you are silenced, you are not heard. You are not allowed to be your authentic self. You are not engaged. You are not included. This is what happens when we're forced into silence. Take a moment and think about that. The $12 trillion workforce gap due to gender inequity widens. People come to work covering who they really are, covering their authentic selves. 70% of those individuals are less committed to their organizations. Diversity is invited, yet inclusion is stood up. Less than 1/3 of organizations see their leaders held accountable for improving diversity and inclusion outcomes. We are very deep inside this pit. But everything is telling us that we don't want to be here. We don't want to stay here. So let's get out. Say it. Right? Say it. Say what you've been meaning to say. That's your ticket out of here. The most powerful form of human expression, the most important tool for change, the most essential element of the human experience, voice. History shows us that when we are silenced, it is a violation of freedom. It is an injustice. If that's the case, then why do we have a tendency to silence in the workplace? If you are silenced, you are not included. If you are not included, you are not engaged. With an 87% of the global workforce disengaged at work, it's time for a gut check. Did you know that highly engaged workplaces have a competitive advantage of 147%, and that's earnings per share? We know that this is important and necessary for economic growth and development, yet there are no real formal incentives for organizations to hold themselves accountable. Even if there were, many wouldn't even know where to begin. Voice. How about we begin here? Imagine if you could share your ideas, your values, your concerns, and be given a brave space to be supported in order to do so, then organizations will become more aware of them, for better or for worse, and be able to incorporate them using simple feedback loops linked to engagement. But before we can even go there, we have to first admit that we have a problem. Congratulations, we have a problem. But now we can take this problem and turn it into a question that we can solve for. How might we use our voice to be and stay engaged at work? Now, I understand that sharing your problem is very difficult for a lot of individuals. So we have to recognize that it's not enough to share and solely have it out there, right? We need to have a platform where we can both share and be heard, and also use our voice to be a part of the solution. Design thinking provides us with that platform. Design thinking is a creative process used to solve complex problems. It puts people at its center to inspire, ideate, and implement solutions that better suit our needs. We know what they are for the most part, right? With our needs at the center, it gives us an opportunity to better understand who we are as people. Just think, if someone took into consideration all that you are, you're good, you're bad, you're everything in between, and we're able to better serve you and your needs, how would your experience be? Intersectionality recognizes that you may have multiple social identities impacting your state of being, the way that you experience the world, and so much more. I stand before you today as a cis Black woman, right? Here I am. And only taking into consideration one of my identities completely ignores all that I am and the totality of my existence and my needs. So you're not only better understanding who I am as a person, but you're also able to better understand my voice and all of our voices. Once that happens, we can move from our problem to our solution. Organizations all over the world are using design thinking and multifaceted approaches to solving their very complex problems. With voice at the center, they use it as a bridge. And they use it to bridge their assumptions about your day-to-day, what your life is like, and people's real experiences, what it's actually and what's actually happening. If you are heard, you are included. If you are included, you are engaged. Studies show that belongingness and uniqueness are essential elements for inclusion. Those who are able to come to work as their authentic selves are 90% more committed to their organizations. I went to my boss and I told her how important family was to me. I love working where I work, but we needed to have a conversation. I needed to be open about the stressors that were happening in my family and what I needed. So we sat down and we were able to create a work-life integration plan. I had no idea that was going to be a part of it, but it was actually pretty amazing to have an advocate on my side. My colleagues asked me about my day, and I have to tell you that the floodgates completely opened. I told them everything. I told them about my identity, how I was feeling, the stress, everything. And instead of them making fun of me or going against my back, we all sat down and we collaborated. And we were able to facilitate a discussion about identity and the stressors at work. It was incredible. Everyone wants a platform to be heard. Maybe then we can get out of the pit and stay there. Maybe then we can use what makes us come most alive, our voice. Remember, when the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful. Thank you.